Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. This is actually our first blog, video blog of a series of blogs that you're going to be enjoying through puntacana.wellness.com. We want to be able to communicate, to create this genuine conversation between wellness professionals and all the wellness travelers around the world, not only for Punta Cana, but for everyone that has a question about the wellness and how to get into a life full of wellness. So today, I am pleased to be with a person that I admire a lot, that it's been in my journey for wellness in my life for the last 4 years or so. His name is Noam Gamady, and his website is about Healing Hands Noam. And he has this great lab that is called it's called the Movement and Mindful Lab, right? Mindful and Movement Lab, yes. So for me, this blog is about heal your body, heal your life, and finding a journey in your life to just get that wellness that you need to get choices and to be able to fulfill your life. So I am very, very excited to have this conversation with you today. And why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you. So, as I haven't said yet, my name is Noam Gamady, and I've been on this journey for over half a decade. It started out as a child growing up in Israel, and really growing up in a society where there was a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder, a lot of unknowns, and I began to, over time, feel extremely unsafe, uncomfortable, conflicted, and more over the years I got more depressed. And somehow in my mid-30s the shift began. I began to look at how do I shift the circumstances or my perception of the circumstances and see where it takes me to. And basically this is what this journey has been, starting with myself as the guinea pig and later on sharing the information with other people so that they can also have their experience and find out how to work with their pressures, with the things that don't work for them, find a way out.
So how is it that Noam decided to start helping people to heal themselves? What really triggered you? I mean, what really allowed you to reach out and say, you need help, I can help?
I think that in my experience, the way it works is you begin the journey with yourself. You start wherever you're at. You can't push it forward, you can't stray behind. You have to really stay present with where you're at. And my experience was, especially after the 2007 economic fall, we found ourselves with nothing. We had invested, and I really had no choice but to reinvent myself. Now at that point, there were a couple of years of total depression and not knowing where or who I am or what I am, because all my previous identities were dropping. I was married, I had kids, I had an interior design business, I had all these things that once the market crashed, I had nothing. And at that point, there was an identity crisis. I did need to find a way to give meaning, and basically the way it occurred was that I started working with different teachers. And at some point, someone came up to me and asked for help. And my first reaction was, who do you want help from? I had no idea that they were actually asking me, because I didn't feel competent. And yet, over time, working with this person, working with people from all walks of life, it became more natural, more comfortable. I realized what it was that I was offering them and how I could help them.
So what exactly are the benefits of, let's say, your wellness practice? If someone comes to you, let's say with a specific problem, that it's been, let's give you an example. It's been proven that, for example, the weight loss journey is more related to the mental health and the wellness of the person inside than what the person is really eating, because habits are coming from other stuff. So just to ask you an example, give me an example of how a person like this coming to you will find benefit on coming and stepping into a journey of wellness with you.
It's a great point. Historically, we've kind of separated between the mind and the body. And yes, clearly there are benefits to both. If you have a specific issue that you need help with, you may need both. You probably will need both. But historically, we've kind of looked at it from a very narrow lens. Oh, you have this problem, this is the solution. Human beings are complex. You cannot, it's not just a matter of, okay, take this pill and you'll be fixed. There's an exploration. Because we're complex, we have to really find ways in, and how you feel will impact your behavioral patterns. The way I experience it, the body is a container. It's a container, it's like a pressure cooker. And in order to maintain balance, you continuously have to empty out the valves, otherwise it will either explode, that's worst case scenario, or it will spill over. And what we're trying to do, or what my practice is doing, is basically working with people to release their valves, to see what patterns they have, where they're holding, what beliefs they may have, and at the same time to see where it's stored in the body. Where are they holding? How can we begin to loosen it up and to eventually release it so that they're back in balance?
What about, when people feel stressed or we are in certain situations, it's very, very difficult for someone to realize that there are choices. What is your approach towards that? I mean, it's been difficult for me in my personal journey to understand that there are different venues or different ways to approach a situation according to my needs. It's been revealing, to say the least. It was really like, oh, I do have a choice. So how do you start that conversation and making someone under a lot of pressure to understand, look, dude, you do have, there's choices here. There's not just only one.
Again, this is a great topic and it's a tricky one, because yes, most people at some point or another in different parts of their life will feel that they have no choice. And they're right. At that moment when you believe that you have no choice, you have no choice. So the idea is, my experience is you cannot change reality. There are things that happen to us. What you can do is change your perspective. And what I offer people is basically exactly that. Hey, come around to this corner. How does it look from here? So, and little by little, they begin to see that there is a choice. Now it's mental, it's also physical. If I'm holding my shoulders tight, it doesn't feel like I have a choice.
Yeah.
I'm not aware that I'm holding. So I can look in the mirror and I still won't see it. But if someone puts their hand on me, all of a sudden I can loosen up. So the idea is to support a person and give them other perspectives so that they can begin to develop that skill.
And now that you mentioned the body part is going to be my next question. You know, you are doing this mindful movement labs. How does that relate to just the wellness journey? I mean, it's important the way we move, how we hold ourselves. What is about? What is a movement relation with all that we do?
So, to keep it simple, which it isn't,
Uh-huh.
it is all interrelated. If I am anxious or stressed, will it have an impact on my body? Sure. I may have a tightening of the chest. My abs may be tight. There'll be different areas which will contract. Going back to the analogy of the pressure cooker, if you can identify where it is you are holding, you can release it. So in the lab, basically what we're exploring is a number of different things. Mindfulness, which is really slowing down, paying attention to where you're at this moment. Something that we rarely do, because in our mind we're usually obsessed with what we're going to do next.
Will you call that meditation?
Mindfulness, meditation, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would call it, there may be some nuances, but yes, they're very close to me.
Okay, good.
So by slowing down, you have an opportunity to observe. If you're running, it's very hard to do any corrections or to do anything. Once you slow down, once you pay attention, all of a sudden you realize, oh, I can do it another way, which is easier.
Are we talking movements like Tai Chi, or are we talking like regular movements, just standing up from a chair, just getting out from bed? What exactly is what we're talking about?
Functional movements.
Uh-huh.
Functional movements, and yes, it is obviously the methodology that I use is called Feldenkrais.
Okay.
And it is based on judo, it is based on tai chi, it is based on yoga, it is based on a number of different things, taking certain qualities from these different modalities and seeing how to integrate them experientially. So basically you can learn how to learn. How do you operate? And yes, if you have a problem getting up from the chair, unless you shift something and you become aware of what you're doing, it's going to be hard. So yes, in the lab or in the mindfulness and movement lab, we're exploring movement. We're exploring meditation.
And you say that you can apply those movement and mindfulness state to any situation in your life, because you call them practical movement.
Because the human being is a complex body, anything that you do will apply to other areas of your life. You may not be able to do the direct connection, but yes, as you become more loose within your body, or you let go of the tension and resistance, you can do things with more ease.
Understandable. So you do believe that there is a correlation between the body, spirit, emotions, and the relation between the feelings and needs, and how do we interact with that, with the level of tension and with the level of even our reactions. What is your approach to someone that feels that needs are only sleep, eat, going to the bathroom, taking a shower, and doing some money because I need to pay bills?
I'll be honest with you, they're not going to come to me.
Oh, okay.
Because the people that come to me realize that something is out of balance, that they may not call it needs, they may use a different terminology. It's important for me to be in a healthy relationship. or it's important for me to be able to continue going out and riding my bike. You cannot separate it. You cannot separate the experience, the emotional experience, from the physical body. If I'm concerned about being bullied, or if I'm concerned about being shamed, clearly it's going to impact my body and my communication skills with others.
Yes, yes. In some cases, like in my case, I know that when I don't get in touch with those needs, what I really need, it's an overreaction, pressure cooker explosion that comes out. That comes out and just never gonna think. How about taking steps to creating that balance? What will be those steps that you will tell someone? Take it little by little, or take it one step at a time, or just go the 7-10 steps. But what will be those steps to creating that balance in your life that generate that wellness that we all search for? Is that we all want that?
I would say that there are a few things that are crucial for this journey. Number one is understanding that this is a process. There's no quick fix here. You're not going to feel better about yourself and that's it, it's going to go away. So when you look at life as a process rather than as a destination, it makes more sense, because then you give yourself the time, you're patient with yourself, realizing, okay, what do you need to do in order to make it work? For me, I realized that without the experiential, it has limited value. Unless you have concrete tools like breathing, like communication tools, you understand that there's a problem and your focus is on avoiding the problem or not feeling your feelings. When you realize that the experiential is what is needed, then you need to find someone or somewhere where you can land, where someone can actually bring out a mirror and you can see yourself more clearly, which is ultimately what I offer.
Great.
And over time you get more comfortable or more at ease with being in authenticity. Because when you're in authenticity, when you're at peace with yourself, you become a magnet. People want to gravitate towards you. They want to hear you. They want to explore with you. The opposite is also true. If you're restricted and withheld, you're going to repel people. So communication, observation, there are specific tools and specific ways that you can begin the journey or continue your journey wherever you're at.
That sounds good. And I thank you so much for this opportunity to have this conversation with you. Thank you, everybody. If you've been paying attention, we invite you to keep looking into reading and listening to and being our videos for this video blog series in Punta Cana Wellness. We invite you to keep coming with us and be a witness of all these conversations. Thank you. We share wellness, we live in wellness, and we wish you wellness.